Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of People of Data, where we get to highlight the wonderful people of data. These are our data leaders from various industries, geographies, and disciplines. Discover how companies are using data, their achievements, and the challenges they face. Today on the show, we have Sriram Sampath. Sriram is an experienced head of data, leading data at Pleo. Pleo, as we all know, is a massive fintech B2B unicorn. But what I'm most impressed by Sriram are his extracurricular activities. Sriram has recently finished a 1,000 kilometer cycling trip over India where he focused on building six mini libraries for children. And he's also spends his time volunteering math and science education for the Lil Einstein program at Bhumi. And Bhumi is India's largest volunteering organization. Welcome to the show, Sriram.
Hi, Taresh. Happy to be here. I've also seen some of the past guests at this show, so I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
I think the honor is all ours. We'd love to get started. I know we have a lot to talk about. So we'd love to start with what does Pleo do? We all know Pleo from being the sort of B2B sort of unicorn. Fundamentally, what does Pleo do? And like, how do you guys make money?
Yep, sure. So Pleo is a centralized expense solution for modern teams. So what it helps do is it helps your employees spend all the money that they need to get for their work, while at the same time giving the bookkeepers full control and visibility of the expenses that are made. So in a way, it caters to two major personas, the spender and the bookkeeper. Typically, our companies come in with traditional challenges just to make it simpler. So you have these shared cards that are used within a company, and then you have missing receipts that are usually causing a lot of issues for bookkeepers. And then there are these cases where employees chase their employers for refunds and reimbursements. And overall, it's always a laborious task to put together expense management reports for the bookkeeper. So what we offer, we are one of Europe's leading B2B fintechs, and yeah, so we are the go-to solution for all things expense management.
How does data play a role at Pleo? And, how does your team fit into fundamentally what the business wants to do?
So yeah, like any other business, especially a fintech, data plays a very central part of our success story and also our growth strategy. There are many use cases I can recollect about. I can call out about data's use at Pleo, but I'll keep it to maybe three use cases. So first thing, Pleo is just more than a company, expense card. So within the product, you can see a centralized consumption overview of all your expenses, and that too in real time. So in a way, you can see where you're spending, what you're spending on, and who is spending on them. So it makes a bookkeeper's task all the more easier. And at the same time, we are also able to automatically fetch the receipts for the recent payments that you've made. And we also help categorize the expenses in real time. So that's probably within the product. Outside the product, data plays a very key role in helping us understand what our customers' needs are. And especially in this climate that we have today, in terms of the economy, our customers have really ramped down on some of their spends, but they also changed their customer behaviors, like spending patterns fundamentally. So data is what helps us stay abreast of how our customers' spend behaviors have transformed over time. In a way, we have to adapt and also align with what their needs are and stay relevant to our customers. So it helps us in many ways understand, what's the right product that we have, or can we sell to the right customer at the right time through the right channel. So that's something that we use data for, and we rely on several signals like the customer's product engagement and adoption rates. Then we look at their firmographics. We tap into qualitative research that our user researchers do to get insights from our customers themselves. And we also use data from their spend patterns and behaviors to stay abreast and adapt to the latest behavioral patterns of our customers. But more than anything, I think data in a fintech has a very fundamental, is a key guardrail in helping us potentially identifying risky customers. It also helps us, predict fraudulent transactions, which not only puts the customers, but also us at risk, reputational risk, and also severe disadvantage for anyone going through this whole process.
Yeah.
And also it helps in going the extra mile in supporting our customer, the best customers, by offering them products like credit, overdraft, etc.
Yeah. That makes a ton of sense. So just to kind of recap, you spoke about three areas, right? One of them is external facing, so on the product. Your second one is kind of internal, sort of segmentation, personalization, internal analytics, and then third one, in some ways, becomes risk, right? To sort of de-risk the business.
That's right.
So that's awesome. Everyone talks about their business being a data-driven culture, but would kind of want to zoom into that a level deeper. What is really the culture at Pleo, and as a data leader, how do you fit in? How do you really map into that? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
In terms of the culture, I think we mirror the product that we sell, I would say. So our product is based on trusting your employees and being transparent, both sides, as an employee as well as an employer. And I think that is the fundamental cultural aspect of Pleo, being able to trust each other and collaborate to make things simpler for us and also for our customers. Our culture revolves all around trust and accountability. That is how I would sum it up in one sentence.
And how do you fit, and how does you and your team fit into this culture, right? Obviously, you know we want to come from the data world. We want to go make sort of data driven decisions. How receptive are leadership in going down that route? And if someone were to have come work for Pleo, what should they know in terms of what culture are they walking into, sort of specifically as in the data team, sort of given that they've already given us the sort of given that you've already given us the climate at the organization level.
Yeah, obviously, the culture all revolves around the buy-in from the leadership, without which, you can have all the data you want, but for that to be put into action, you need the buy-in from the leadership and also the trust. So we are a 45 member organization within Pleo. So we are spread across four competencies. The four of them being data engineers, analytics engineers, data scientists, and data analysts. And I want to particularly call this in terms of, with respect to the question you just raised, because analytics engineering is probably an upcoming subcompetence, and leaders understand the value of building trusted and good quality foundational data models so they can trust the data that they get in their outcomes. And there's been significant investment on that front to add more analytics engineers to our team. And it's a team with immense talent density as well, which is one of the things I'm proud of, and it's one of the reasons why I love working at Pleo. So we push each other, and we push each other in the right way to achieve the same unified goal of taking our customers to their next best. So that's, I think, a pivotal or the most important part of working at Pleo.
I love that you mentioned, you are broken down into these four teams. You have about 45 people. What's the sort of company footprint in general? How many employees does Pleo have as a macro?
Pleo is an 850 employee company at this point,
Got it.
out of which 45 of us work in the data and analytics
Incredible.
organization.
So the data team represents 5% of the company. So very typically we see about 20% of companies. Again, there's a high variance in this, but about 20% of companies are technology, and inside technology, maybe about 10 to 20% of the org is in sort of data. So basically, given that we're looking at about 4% of the org, you guys are sort of bigger than that. So a good indicator that data is a first class citizen inside the organization.
Absolutely.
What does the footprint look like? What's your stack?
Yeah, I hope I can cover all the elements for data stack, but
Yeah.
if I have to start from the data collection and ingestion from the different sources that we tap into, then we use Fivetran and Segment. And
Yeah.
then Google BigQuery is our data warehouse. And pretty much the bread and butter for all things data transformation and data pipelines is DBT, so data build tool. So it's what we roll with, if I can say that.
Yeah.
And
Do you use DBT Cloud? Do you use Core? Do you use Enterprise?
we use DBT Core, and we also use Paradigm, which helps us manage the entire life cycle on DBT. So it's
Yeah,
one of the new tools that we're getting immense rewards from. And for all our data cataloging and governance needs, we use Castordoc and Census for all our reverse ETL use cases and Elementary for data monitoring. So this is pretty much, I think, the stack. And when it comes to the data visualization and BI, we use Looker and also Amplitude. So I guess
amazing.
that's pretty much summarizing the key components of our tech stack.
All of the usual suspects. I love it. Are there any areas which you want to be investing in? Obviously, the question on everyone's mind, or the anxiety on everyone's mind, is AI. Where does and you did mention one of your four teams is focused, in the AI realms. How does AI sort of fit in? And really, when you think about a tech stack from the AI world, is this on top of your sort of GCP, or are you looking at some dedicated tools externally?
It's a mix of different approaches that we're taking. So one is we have also an AI team, an AI enablement team that sits outside the data and analytics org. So whose main focus is to identify use cases, both through the product as well as through other use cases that we can leverage AI to get where we want to in the next few years. So we
Yeah.
are consciously trying to understand how we can leverage AI.
People of Data is brought to you by 5x. It's no surprise that the data space is one of the most fragmented industries with over 500 vendors in 30 plus categories. The analogy we use is data vendors are selling car parts. Imagine walking into a Honda and instead of selling you a Civic, they sell you an engine and you have to build your own car. That's exactly what's happening in the data world today. 5x is an all-in-one data platform that's incredibly easy to use. We make it easy to consolidate your data from your different systems, clean it, structure it, model it, and make it available through dashboards, reporting, and AI. Whether you're building a data platform from scratch, filling in missing pieces, or need expert data services, 5x has you covered. Imagine a world where any team can become a data and AI team in just a few clicks. If you're interested in making sure you don't get left behind in this new world of data and AI, get a demo at 5x.co. Got it. What is one achievement which might not be obvious, which you're super proud of? Like, or put in another way, what is one use case if you want potential sort of data engineers, data professionals to be watching? What is that, one unconventional use case which you guys have cracked, which you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's unconventional, but one of the use cases that we are particularly proud of at Pleo is an engine that we have built, which enables our commercial organization to reach out to the right customer at the right time with the right offer through the right channel. So the engine, as we call it, taps into qualitative and quantitative insights. And I feel that's one of the USPs of this data product, if I can call it. So because of the fact that it taps into not just quantitative data, which is the usual or the traditional perspective to building data products, this engine taps into what our customers are saying on the ground. So our sales and commercial, the customer success managers help us get that feedback from the ground, tie it back to this engine, and in a way we are able to use not just data analytics but also data science models, plus some of the behavioral patterns of our customers, plus the qualitative inputs that we get from the commercial organization to create this well-rounded and holistic engine that helps our the people at the front line to have meaningful conversation and
Yeah,
proactively reach out to customers before
sure.
they any issue gets out of hand, or if they see that the customers can greatly benefit from a product feature but aren't
Yeah,
using them to the best possible extent today, then it gives
yeah,
them that edge to reach out to the customer before
yeah,
they're thinking about it. So I think that's the engine that I want to highlight today. So it's enabled a 300 plus organization internally. And the second reason why I call this out is because it taps into the different signals
yeah,
that are created and crucial at all parts of the business internally. So
yeah.
there are 20 plus signals coming in, but all coming from different perspectives, probably in terms of product engagement or adoption, then in terms of the growth potential of a customer or whatnot. So it taps into the right signals, giving us the right enablement opportunities for our customers.
That makes a ton of sense. This is the sort of customer 360 problem, right? Which it sounds like you've like you've tapped in not only to the obvious sort of aspects of how many times did they visit, what interactions did they do on your platform, how they're using it, but into the sort of into the qualitative piece as well, which a lot of it sort of actually comes down to sort of sentiment.
Yeah,
So super exciting to see a true like decision engine built on top of the customer 360, and I think uh, that's something which more and more organizations sort of really need to tap into. That's
yeah.
very, very inspiring to see.
Just to add to that a bit, so it's that engine that reminds us that we shouldn't be working in silos. So it's a constant reminder that collaborative sort of an engine where we are not only able to tap into the data, but also the context, which is a piece that
Yeah,
our customers plus our customer success folks give us, is
yeah,
critical for us at this hyper growth stage. Yeah, we are usually working, in a sense, in a very siloed world, either the folks on the front line or the folks in data. So they feel
yeah,
they get everything from what they tap into. But I think it's usually data plus context that
yeah.
solves most critical challenges that a customer or a company faces.
That's so powerful, and I think more and more, any sort of consumer facing company, one of the core objects is the customer 360. By very nature of it, it is multi-department, right? It's every point of interaction a customer has with you. So, every department is interacting with the customer or the customer journey at some point, and feeding that back into this engine in some ways is a testament of the what you're speaking about, which is that collaboration needed at an organization level in order to execute a project like this. What are one of the challenges you face today, and what's something, put another way, which sort of keeps you up at night, or put in another way, what are you excited about solving next?
Yeah. Uh, there are many again, but the one thing that I will touch upon is how can we set up our customers for success at the early stages of their onboarding or their interaction with Pleo. So how soon can we get these signals so we can extend the right level of servicing to them and also give them the right onboarding experience so they're set up for success for the remainder of their journey as a Pleo customer. So the reason for me to highlight this is because it's particularly challenging to get good quality data about customers when they've hardly interacted with you or hardly anything about them. So how can we get to a stage where we know enough as soon as possible about our customer base? So there are twofold reasons to look at this challenge. So one is that obviously we want our customers to get the feel of the product, or we want them to give them the confidence that their use cases can be solved through Clio early on.
Yeah,
The second part of it is our human capital is at a premium as well. So we want to make sure that we invest our human capital with the right customers at the right time. So it's a bit of a twofold challenge where we're not only trying to set our customers up for success, but also intelligently leveraging our internal human capital. So that's the
yeah.
reason why this challenge is particularly important to us, and we made some significant strides in the last few months around this, but there is still work to be done.
I mean, that makes a ton of sense. And, mapping back to your customer 360, right? Initially, when you don't have those, sort of vast data points to, get the decision engine in some ways up and running, what do you do over there, right? And lookalike or segmentation probably plays one role in it. But how do you think about solving this problem? Like you mentioned, you have made some significant strides in the past few months. What, from a tactical level, what has that approach been?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of keeping things simple. And let's say the Pareto uh, analysis is a classic example of how I like to think about things. So 80% of the challenges can be done, solved with 20% of the uh, actions, let's say. Our our approach has also been pretty similar. Start with the right baselines, understand which are the levers that move or are critical, and then building on top of that so that it's also sustainable, scalable, and also does not operationally put all our internal resources in confusion. So we want to start small so there is enough evidence to back the success of our initiatives. At the same time, we are also looking at the right signals early on than later. So we don't want to take this complex approach where we don't know what's really moving the needle. So we have, and that's where I feel we have come a long way in identifying what some of those key signals are. And now it's a matter of building on top of those baselines. So we're getting there, but it's there is still work to be done, as I said.
Very interesting. Sriram, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Tarish. It was a pleasure talking to you.